Hi, friends. Welcome back. This is Caitlin. We are into part two of a little series that I'm working on this week for our lives. So I hope that you are as excited as I am. What we did last on Tuesday was I made 4 really fun backgrounds. So I have this really beautiful glittery slimline panel with some chunky glitter paste that we made and ink blending. We have our candle multi-layer, hey Terry, 4-layer stencil background. We did some tone on tone ink blending with 2 different colors through a confetti stencil. And then we have our mini slimline, which was a little bit of an ombre with a blue and green, and I did it on to a pebble cardstock. So we are going to be taking those 4 panels and turning them into cards today. So it's going to be really fun. I have a couple things already prepped. We should be good. I was a little bit frazzled getting ready, so we'll see. I might have to come up with some stuff on the fly, but that's just what card making is, right? We're just going to make it work. So let me switch us over to, here we go, our overhead shaft. There we go. All right, so there are all of our backgrounds. And what I'm thinking is, let's start with our candles first. So for my candle background, I did trim this down to 3 3/4 by 5. So I cut a 1/2 inch off in both directions. I tried to keep it so that I would keep those little hint of flames along the top. Hey, Kendra. Hey, Susan. And my lovely daughter, Alex, helped me pick out yellow for this background, the yellow stripes. The pattern paper that I'm going to be pulling in for a couple of these today is the year-round dots and stripes. I love these because the colors are just perfect literally for year-round, just like it says. You can do them for holidays. You could do them for any time. They have stripes on one side. I'll show you what this one, stripes on one side and tone on tone dots on the other. So they're perfect for your stash. Oh, hey, Denise, I'm so glad that you got to jump in. So we're going to be using that as our background panel. And I did prep my card bases because I'm determined to actually use these ones. So I'm going to make them as full bases. So I'm going to take my liquid glue, and we're just going to do one card at a time and just kind of plow our way through. Yeah, Terry, I'm on my second one. I had to restock my dots and stripes because I use them so often for my pink and main cards. All right, so there's our yellow. We're gonna glue our stenciled paper down flat because I'm gonna pop up the sentiment, I think. Ooh. For this one with the candles, you could definitely add an image, but I really wanted the candles to be the image and the focus. So we are going to borrow something that I did a couple weeks ago, and we're going to do a 2-toned sentiment. So, oh, you ordered your mini mink. I'm so excited. So this glue holder is actually from Make It by Marco. I think they might have their own website. I think they're on Etsy. But the Easy Squeeze glue fits perfectly into it. I love it. It stays on my desk at all times, so that way my glue is flipped over and I'm ready to go. So I am so excited to get my mini mink too, Terry. It's gonna really be a game changer for those foils, I think. So for this card, my thought was, for my sentiment, was to grab one of these guys from the new Make-A-Wish stamp set. And I thought what would be more perfect than the Make-A-Wish sentiment. And it should fit right kind of in between our flame layers. So I already die cut it, and we're just going to go in and stamp it up. And while we're at it, I also die cut the really thin happy birthday sentiment as well. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out to go on our mini slimline. That's going to fit right just perfectly in the center of our firework. So let me get out my MISTI and we're going to stamp those up. And some kind of stamping platform is perfect for this technique because we are going to go in twice to stamp these with two different, we're going to be using two different colors. So when I have my stuff already cut, I like to get it nice up into the corner of my platform and then pop those into place. Just slide this down. And I'm just using kind of the bottom of each letter and the die cut to line that up, kind of looking at it from the side. And please forgive if you can see any of the schmutz that's on my my like paper here. I really need to figure out what's going on with my die cut plates. I think I just need to give up and make my top plate my bottom plate and add in a new one. I have a new one ready to go. I just haven't committed to that yet. So for my happy birthday, I know that I just want to go in with the Barbershop ink, a really beautiful navy. I just want that solid because I don't think the two-tone is going to look great with the two-tone that's on my card base. So instead of competing, we're just going to let it shine and just do the blue. And honestly, I think one pass with that was enough. So that's exciting. Wipe that off. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take it out because with my luck today, we will double stamp it on accident or something. So I'm just going to set that to the side. And then for our Make-A-Wish, I am going to, I want to do teal, the Lakeside and Barbershop. And so since they're going to go here and the Lakeside's on the top and Barbershop's on the bottom, I think I'm just going to mimic that. So I'm going in, I'll show you from the side. I'm going in at an angle and I'm just going to use the top edge to stamp onto my sentiment. And stamp that down. And it is okay that it's not super opaque. This time I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to take it quite as high. There we go. That's such a gorgeous navy color. Take my wipe. Yeah, Kendra, me too. I love these dye inks and that the pigment is so good and that they are such juicy stamps because it makes a technique like this especially so easy to do. Your ink does all of the work for you. You don't have to fuss with it at all. So that time I did the same thing, but to the top part of my sentiment. And then when I did this technique a couple weeks ago, I went in with a brush and tapped it, but honestly, I kind of like this like more striped kind of look to this. Once it dries down a little bit, I think the colors will pop a little bit more too, but it's just really fun. Thought it would just be quick and easy with a big impact. stamp away. Our Misty away. And I'm just very gently going to pop up my sentiment. There we go. All right. So for this kind of popping up of my sentiment, I could have definitely just cut a few more layers of that die cut out and we could have just stacked them. But I am going to take my foam tape and we're just gonna cut some foam tape, some tiny little strips where needed. And we're just gonna foam tape up the back. Right, the candles turned out so cute. They are a 4-part stencil. So there's 2 candle and 2 flame stencils. And I did the smaller flame stencil with a custom glitter paste that we made from the glossy gel with a little bit of the tangerine super fine glitter mixed in. All right, last piece. That's good. Good enough for me. I really feel like I'm probably not because I use it constantly, but I really feel like I'm going to have that foam tape for so long. It'll be fun for anyone that started watching in the beginning to see how it dwindles as we go through all of these lives, doing 2 a week. And I pretty much use it on something every week if we're being honest. So I'm going to try to get that as close to middle as I can. I think that's cute. I'm just going to go ahead and press it down and commit. And nothing is mine unless it has some sparkle. So because I want to do one of these at a time, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to add a few of the cool jelly gems now. I kind of want them tucked around the sentiment, I think. Right, there's already a lot of sparkle on this card, so I'm not overly worried about going crazy. But it just gives that extra little touch of shine and sparkle. Such a cute card. So that's one done. Pretty good. And we already have our next sentiment prep. So let's just go ahead and we'll jump right into our mini slimline. So for that, I cut a piece of the Ice Rink 110-pound cardstock to be 6 by 7 and then scored it on the 7-inch side so that it's 6 by 3.5. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this panel down flat. So this panel we made by combining the Park and Barbershop inks with the new Celebrate stencil, which comes exactly as you see it here. It has the firework on top and the Celebrate words underneath. And instead of doing one or the other, we inked them up so that we got both images. And I did have a little ink smear. So I know going into this that we are going to add some sparkle to this one to help it kind of blend in and disappear. And I know the white on here looks a little bright, but I really think with the white card base, and I'm thinking of doing more of the white jelly gems for this, that it'll help it all makes sense. So you know what we're gonna do. Some more foam. Because that dimension just makes me so happy, and it's gonna help the recipient so that they can see that extra little ink blending in the center where you can kind of see under the sentiment when it's popped up. Yep, just like that. This one was kind of, it feels like cheating because, so the embossing folder firework is much bigger. That's a great question, Kendra. I have it here. Hold on. Don't judge me. I'm warning you now, I did not clean these stencils yet. So here's my inky stencil. So, but just so you can see the difference in size between the embossing folder and the stencil firework. I still think you could totally, I know it's kind of hard to see through the ink, but you could definitely use them together to like really go crazy on the firework part and have like 4 layers instead of just the 2. But they are definitely significantly different. So there is that. I hope that helps. This card is definitely a little bit more on the quote unquote masculine side. So if you didn't mess up and you had a different solution and you didn't want to add a ton of rhinestones to this, you could leave it rhinestoneless and think of it more as a masculine card. But I just, at this point, I don't see the harm in adding some rhinestones, no matter who I'm sending it to, honestly. And I have my smudge is like a couple little parts, but I really think that having the main dot covered up is going to pull the eye away for like to just the rhinestone, and you're really not going to be able to focus on that little smear. So I did 3 at the top and 3 down in the corner, and that guy is done. So cute. That's number 2. I already lost. Oh, it's up here. Like I already lost the first one. Guys, when I tell you it's been a day, it's been a day. All right. This is probably my favorite background that we made. Look at how the chunky glitter. So this was glossy gel with the Stardust chunky glitter mixed in. And then we did a ombre ink blend across the bottom. But seriously, this was the color kind of changed, which is a little interesting. This was the like purpley color, the night sky, into dress shop, into construction. And the glossy gel and glitter definitely brought out the blue in this color, which is kind of fun. And so for that one, I did also trim this down. So this got trimmed a 1/2 inch in each direction as well. And I'm going to pop that onto just a plain white slimline base. I thought the white on white was going to be beautiful. And that was the Scattered Stars stencil that came out this month with this month's release. And I just love how those chunky stars kind of really supported that chunky glitter. Just want to make sure I'm pressing it down really well, because with the glitter, with the gel, glossy gel or the paste, sometimes when the paper is really wet, it does have that tendency to curl up a little bit. So that is that base. And for this one, and the next one, I really wanted to do some Copic coloring. So for this one, for both of them, I grabbed the All About You stamp set by Mommy Lay and Pink and Main. And I'm going to be doing the little girl with the balloons for our slimline. And then I also stamped out the snail for our tone on tone confetti card. So we are going to color up this little girl first. I just think this is going to be so cute with her like down at the bottom and then the sentiment up at the top. We'll have to pull our Misty out one more time to do her sentiment. That's okay. I'm going to see if I can angle this a little bit so you can see around my fingers. Let's give her a little tan. I need my Copic coaster. So I'm going to go in with my E15 and shade up right under her hair, right along her jaw, her ears, the bottom part of her arms, her inner part, I guess. I like to give her a little knee shadow. And we'll shade just right on top of the bridge of her nose. So that was the E15. I'm going to jump to E13. Yeah, I love how that glossy gel will turn any glitter into a glitter paste. And you can mix your glitters too to make your own like custom. I've done that before by adding some of like the white, I think it's the Ice Rink Superfine glitter in with like the pink to make a lighter pink. You can really have fun with your combinations. And you can also add in a drop of reinker if you want. I wouldn't do more than a drop because it does kind of really water down the, wow, that marker needs some love. Going in with my E11 just to blend out the very center of her face and right into those highlights. Okay. And you know what? She looks like she is having so much fun. She could use some rosy cheeks. So when my ink is wet, I like to go in with that R20. So that is her skin all colored up. I want to definitely bring in these colors for the balloons. So let's do a YR15. To do the balloon, I'm going to create a curved C shape that mimics the same shape as that balloon on the artist drawn. And then I like to do a much smaller one on the opposite side. I'll just go ahead and color in the bottom. Then I'm going to go in with the YR12 and start connecting those and bringing them towards the center. Still leaving a really good highlight on the edges and the middle. And then with a YR21, filling in that center line and all the way around the edge. I think that matches up pretty darn cute. Yellow is just, I'm not feeling yellow for her dress. I'm thinking maybe the pink. No, we should do the blue because she's down at the bottom. So we'll pull in that like periwinkle BV blue. So let's knock our pink out first. That's a little bit of a hot pink. I didn't pre-pick my colors tonight. So we're gonna go with RVs. Let's do RV 25. Oh, it's okay, Kendra. You can catch us in the replay. You know that. Thanks for being here, though. So same thing. My C shape, my smaller. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and color in. Oh, I said we were going to do her dress blue. I guess her dress is pink. Okay. This is the RV 14. It's not a super big jump, but it will really help to bridge the gap between the RV 25 and our RV. Nope, that's too light. I'm going to go RV 13. There we go. Still light enough to get a highlight, but not so light that it's jarring. Here, we'll bring in the blue for her collar and her shoes. That will make up for that brain slip. Oh, and I didn't color her nose. You guys were going to just let me go off and not color her nose? You guys have to have my back on these. Let's do, we'll do BV 34. And we might even be able to get away with just 2 colors for this one because all of these areas are so much smaller since we're not doing the whole balloon. Yeah, that's right. So BV 34 and then BV 02. Okay, and then her hair. I really want something that's going to pop, so let's go with a deeper brown. Where are you? We'll do the 50s. So for my, starting with my darkest color with that 59, I'm going to use her like bangs as my base for starting adding in my shading. So just kind of making little flick marks up from her bang line. And then her cowlick is kind of to the side. So I'm going to pull some over and then kind of follow that around. And we'll just kind of let those lines blend in with our lighter shades as we get to the top. We're going to shade this whole part of her hair in dark, right, because it's swooping behind her. And then I'm going to do the same thing following these artist drawn lines at the bottom, using those as my starting point for that hair texture. And then I'm going to pull down kind of in between them from the back of the head. I'm going to switch to my E57. making sure that I'm now connecting all of these lines up to the top, just leaving a little sliver of highlight. And then E55. I think this is cool because it's brown and it's darker, but it's still a little on the warmer side. So it's really going to pop well against those orangey colors. There we go. How cute is she? Love that. But we do need a sentiment because I skipped her sentiment. So let's do that. It's all about you. That one's really, and it has its coordinating die. And for this one, I'm thinking we should stamp it in pink. So we have pink, pink, and pink. In general, the eye enjoys things that show up 3 times. So let's grab my pink ink and a scrap of my ice rink cardstock. We're going to just come down in the corner. It's all about you. And this is fun because it could be a birthday card, but it doesn't have to be. It could be any kind of celebration card. People give balloons for all kinds of things. That's kind of fun. About you. Okay. Let me get this off of here because I always forget and try to line it up with that giant crazy magnet and then wonder why it never wants to stay in place. And because my plates are grimy, I always trim what I'm die cutting down first. Just running this really quick through my die cutting machine off screen, so I'm not trying to clear space on the top of my desk. That's just not going to work. Okay. And I'm pretty sure at this point, you all know exactly what I'm going to do to adhere both of these to my card panel, especially because of the chunky glitter. The foam is really going to help to grab all around that. And it's not going to let my cardstock look bumpy or textured. It's going to kind of cushion and even out any of that. Right? You would think, Heather, that I'm going to fly through this, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's get her in place first. You'd think I would be an expert at getting that backing tape off faster at this point. All right, so I popped her just a little bit above the bottom, just so there's not so much space between her and the sentiment. And then this one, I'm not going to add any more rhinestones or sparkle to because I really think that chunky glitter is enough. And was thinking dead center, but I'm thinking off to the side a little bit just helps kind of create that diagonal across the card. So yeah, I think that is absolutely adorable. So it's all about you. And then we have plenty of space for more sentiments or notes on the inside. You know, the last thing I do want to do is take a little bit of a white gel pen and just add some highlights to my balloons. I just like doing that with like a curved exclamation point kind of. There's no real rhyme or reason to the directions on those. All right, and then this is our last card. So this was our tone on tone. I inked up the stencil, the confetti stencil with the blue and the teal, and then went back over them without really inking up the brush a lot more, just to fill in that white space. So to that, I stamped in the happy birthday from the All About You. And I grabbed the blue tone on tone pattern from that same year-round set. And with this one, Alex also helped me decide that stripes were better than dots because there's so many dot-like shapes on the other panel that we felt it competed. And that's why I like to do liquid glue for these, because then you have time to squish them around a little bit. This one's going to also get adhered flat because I'm going to pop up nice colored image. So I thought with this, to help my sentiment stand out, I would go in with that same white gel pen that I use for highlights on my balloons. And I'm going to edge the lettering with that white gel pen just to help it pop a little bit from the pattern. You know what, I think I'm just going to go all the way around. This is definitely not necessary, and if you wanted an even more dramatic edge, obviously you could just do it with the coordinating die stamped out of white. But I really wanted to try this out and see how it looked with this font. And I'm not trying to be super messy, but I'm also not being crazy careful either, because you're still going to be able to read it. And this is a 10 size jelly pen. I have the 10, the 8, and the 5, and I really like doing this with the 10. So you can kind of see the happy versus the birthday. It just helps to, yeah, just define it a little bit more. I hope you guys like this kind of two-part idea. Anybody watching or anybody who watches in the replay, or if you think about it later and you come back to it and let me know if this is something that you did like, if you have any other topic ideas that you would like to see, if there's any kind of card theme specifically that you feel you're curious to see more of, or you've had a hard time with. I would love to know what questions you guys have, or where you might be needing some extra inspiration in your card making. It seems like right now I have a couple days a month where I just have so many thoughts and ideas for making my cards that it's a little overwhelming. And so this has been like the perfect outlet for that, because you just write them all down, and that's how I've been planning out my month. So there is our happy birthday. And then to offset this one, this is going to be where we bring in that cute little snail with his present. So for that, I want to stick with these same kind of colors. So let's go in with, let's do like a tealy color for our snail. Big jump. Let's do 15. All right, so we're going BG 15. We're just going to define his outer edges. Because that shell would be casting a shadow. And then his little wavy body. Then BG 23. Again, this one's not a huge jump, but it's going to help that BG 11 that we're pulling in last make a little more sense. And we'll just go ahead and fill in his little polka dots too while we're at it. I hope you guys can see that there still is some good contrast there. It'll dry back a little bit too. So that is our tealy colors, and then let's pull in some blue. Let's do the B teens. So we'll do B18. And I'm going to shade the bottom curve of each of his little shell spots. I'll go ahead and fill in his little bow tie too. And some of his stripes. And you know what? I think his dots should be blue. We're going to go color coordinated. We should just go for it, right? So then jumping to B16, that bottom one I'm just going to fill in. And then all the ones above that. And then the last one is going to be my B14. And that just gives a really good pop for that. And you know what? I just feel like we need some other color. So maybe we'll mix in a little yellow. with our present and our hat. I'm just gonna fill in the stripes and the present with my Y19. And then we'll bring back in the teals for the top of the box, as well as the bow. Just for a little something. Just needs a little extra brightening up. And then our last round with the foam tape. And this one I'm also going to skip rhinestones on. I think all these colors are more than enough fun. So I'm going to offset him just a little so that he fits next to that happy. And that is our fourth card all done. So let's pull these guys all back down. There we go. So we have our Make-A-Wish sparkly candle card. We have our Happy Birthday Celebrate ink blended. We have our little Happy Birthday snail. And then we have our It's All About You Sparkle Queen Amazing Slimline. So there you go. 2 45-ish minute sessions, and we have 4 cards completely done. So I hope this gives you some really fun inspiration. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you, Heather. And hey, Dad. Yeah, so I hope that you feel super inspired by these. I had so much fun making them. I think doing it in the 2 parts was a fun way to kind of tackle them. So if you liked that, definitely let me know. We can do another multi-part series in the future. And like I said before, if you have any questions about specific techniques or you need inspiration for other themes, definitely let me know and I will work those in. Otherwise, I am so grateful that you came to hang out with me tonight. I will be back here on Tuesday at 8:30 with some more spring goodness. And until then, I hope you have an amazing weekend and I will see you soon. Happy crafting!